Hello everyone, welcome back to Business Studies class. I am Shweta J from Commerce Department, Gopalswamy PU College, Mysuru. As you all know, second PUC Business Studies is divided into two parts, Part 1 and Part 2. And in today's session, we will start Part 2 called Business Finance and Marketing. And this Part 2 consists 4 chapters, that is Financial Management, Financial Marketing, Marketing and Consumer Protection. And in today's session, I am going to start Chapter 9, that is Financial Management from Part 2. And the total weightage of marks allotted to the examination from this chapter is 11 marks. Out of 11 marks, you can expect 1 mark 1 question, 2 mark 1 question and 4 mark 2 question. And total, you can expect 11 marks from this chapter. It is very important chapter. This chapter covers various topics such as meaning of financial management, importance of financial management and objectives of financial management. The second topic is financial decision. And there are 3 important financial decisions such as investment decision, and it is also called as a capital budgeting decision. And the second one is financing decision, and the third one is dividend decision. The next, financial planning and its objectives and importance of financial planning. And the last one is fixed capital and working capital. You will also learn the factors which are affecting on the fixed capital requirement and the working capital requirement. So these are all the topics which are going to be covered in this chapter. Now let's understand the meaning of financial management and its importance and the objectives of financial management in today's session. First, we should know about finance. Finance, as we all know, is essential for successful running business. It is a basic requirement of any business enterprises, whether it may be a small business enterprises or large business enterprises, because almost all the business activities require some finance. Why the business need some finance? Finance is needed for the establishment of the business, for the survival, growth, diversification and expansion and modernization of business units. So for this purpose, finance is considered as lifeblood of any business enterprise. As you all know, a man without a blood cannot live. Similarly, a business without a finance cannot exist. So every business unit needs money to make more money. But money will get more money only when it is properly managed, because finance is a scarce resource. Hence, the need arises for its efficient and judicious use. When organization utilizes its financial resources effectively, then only organization achieve its goal. So the success of the organization mainly depends on how well finance is invested in different assets and also on various business activities, and also how the business arrange its required finance at right time and at cheaper rates from within the organization or outside the organization. Here I'll tell you, all the plans of the businessman remains a dream unless an adequate finance is available to convert them into reality. So finance is very important to each and every kind of business activities. So now you can understand how the finance is so important to the business organization. And you have a 1 mark question from this topic. The question may like this: what is business finance? So now you are able to answer for this question. So business finance means the money required for carrying out all the business activities such as for the expansion, growth, survival, modernization and diversification of business units. The money required for all the business activities is known as business finance. And finance is required for buying a variety of assets such as plant and machinery, building, office, land, intangible assets such as patents, copyright, trademarks. Along with that, finance is required for maintaining the day-to-day expenses of the business organization. So finance is needed at every stage in the life of the business enterprises. And adequate finance is very crucial for the survival and growth of any business organization. Remember, finance is a scarce resource. For this purpose, a sound financial management is definitely or absolutely necessary for each and every business organization which wants to make more money. Now let's understand the meaning of financial management. Before going to know the meaning of financial management, already I told you finance is a scarce resource. If any organization shows negligence towards the utilization of finance, then definitely it may face huge loss in the future. So for this purpose, we need financial management. Financial management is concerned with the procurement and effective utilization of funds for the business purpose. And this financial management applied in all kinds of business enterprises. So here the procurement of funds involves identification of various sources of finance available within the organization or outside the organization. So here organization can raise its required finance from many sources of finance such as issuing shares and debentures, bank loan, leasing, etc. So after identifying the various sources of finance available within the organization or outside the organization, then organization need to compare the cost of borrowing and the risk involved in them. Because keep it in your mind, the very purpose of any business organization is to get more money than what has been invested. This can be achieved only with the help of the financial management. So financial management means it is a process of making decision about how much finance to be raised through various sources of finance and its effective utilization in an organization. So ಏನು ನಾವು ಫೈನಾನ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನ ರೈಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ ಅದನ್ನ ಕರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿ ಯುಟಿಲೈಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ತಾ ಹೋಗಬೇಕು. ಸೊ ಇದನ್ನ ನಾವೇನು ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ, ಫೈನಾನ್ಷಿಯಲ್ ಮ್ಯಾನೇಜ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. ಅಸೆಟ್ಸ್ ಮೇಲೆ ಎಷ್ಟು ಇನ್ವೆಸ್ಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು, ಒಂದು ಪ್ರಾಜೆಕ್ಟ್ ಹೊಸ ಪ್ರಾಜೆಕ್ಟ್ ಅನ್ನ ನೀವು ತಗೊಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀರಾ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಆ ಪ್ರಾಜೆಕ್ಟ್ ಗೆ ಎಷ್ಟು ಇನ್ವೆಸ್ಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು, ಕರೆಂಟ್ ಅಸೆಟ್ಸ್ ಗೆ ಎಷ್ಟು ಇನ್ವೆಸ್ಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು, ಫಿಕ್ಸ್ಡ್ ಅಸೆಟ್ಸ್ ಗೆ ಎಷ್ಟು ಇನ್ವೆಸ್ಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ಸೊ ಇದನ್ನೆಲ್ಲ ಡಿಸೈಡ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಲ್ಲ, ಅಂಡ್ ಯಾವ ಸೋರ್ಸಸ್ ಇಂದ ನಾವು ಫೈನಾನ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನ ಬಾರೋ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು, at the time of borrowing the finance, at the time of obtaining finance from the various sources available in the society, so you have to analyze the cost and risk involved in them. The financial institution ಇಂದ ಫೈನಾನ್ಸ್ ಪ್ರೊವೈಡ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ಕಾಸ್ಟ್ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ರಿಸ್ಕ್ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ನೀವು ರೀಪೇ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾಗತ್ತೆ, ಇಂಟ್ರೆಸ್ಟ್ ಪೇ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾಗಿರುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಇದನ್ನೆಲ್ಲ ಅನಲೈಸ್ ಮಾಡಿ ನೀವು ಫೈನಾನ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನ ಬಾರೋ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ಬಾರೋ ಮಾಡಿದ್ಮೇಲೆ ಅದನ್ನ ಕರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿ ಯುಟಿಲೈಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ತಾ ಹೋಗಬೇಕು. ಸೊ ಆಲ್ ದೀಸ್ ಟೇಕ್ಸ್ ಪ್ಲೇಸ್ ಓನ್ಲಿ ವಿತ್ ದ ಹೆಲ್ಪ್ ಆಫ್ ದಿ ಫೈನಾನ್ಷಿಯಲ್ ಮ್ಯಾನೇಜ್ಮೆಂಟ್. Now let's understand the importance of financial management one by one. You must know the financial health of the organization can be easily known only with the help of the financial statements. Financial statements consist of profit and loss account and balance sheet, and these two statements reflects a financial position of the business organization at the end of the accounting period. So all the items, all the items which are contained in the financial statements like fixed assets, current assets, depreciation, interest, all these items are directly or indirectly affected by the financial management decisions. So here I will give you some of the prominent examples of aspects being affected through financial management decision which you have taken. So the first one is the size and composition of fixed assets of the business. Once we plan to start a new business, so we must put an investment on fixed assets. We have to invest on fixed assets. For this purpose, we need to determine how much finance is required for fixed assets, how many machineries are required, and how many equipments I need to buy. All these depends upon the size and nature of the business organization. If a businessman going to start a large scale organization, then definitely he has to put a more investment on fixed assets. So the decision which you have take to invest a certain amount for fixed assets will obviously affect your business activities. Take for example, if your business requires 50 crores to invest on fixed assets, and this decision will be called as capital budgeting decision. Whatever we are going to invest 50 crores on fixed assets, this decision can be taken only after analyzing some information, only after analyzing some factors such as number of customers and the demand for your product and also competitions. So after considering all these factors, or after analyzing all these factors, we are going to invest 50 crores on fixed assets. Instead of investing 50 crores of investment on fixed assets, if you invest 100 crores, what will happen? The remaining 50 crores of machinery will remain idle, as there is a little number of customers which are available for such 50 crores of investment. Hence, it is very important that you should do proper financial management decisions, wherein you have decided what will be the size and the composition of the fixed assets of your business. Before going to invest any amount on fixed assets, ಮೊದಲು ನಾವೇನು ಮಾಡಬೇಕು, ಎಷ್ಟು ಮೆಷಿನರೀಸ್ ಅವಶ್ಯಕತೆ ಇದೆ, ಎಷ್ಟು ಎಕ್ವಿಪ್ಮೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಅವಶ್ಯಕತೆ ಇದೆ ಅದನ್ನು ತಿಳ್ಕೊಂಡು, ಮತ್ತೆ ಕಸ್ಟಮರ್ಸ್ ಎಷ್ಟು ಜನ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ, ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಅವರ ಡಿಮ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ಏನು, ಅಂಡ್ ಹೇಗೆ ಸಪ್ಲೈ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು, ಎಷ್ಟು ಯೂನಿಟ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಪ್ರಾಡಕ್ಟ್ ಅನ್ನ ನಾವು ಮ್ಯಾನುಫ್ಯಾಕ್ಚರ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು, ಇದನ್ನೆಲ್ಲ ಕನ್ಸಿಡರ್ ಮಾಡಿ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ನಾವು ಇನ್ವೆಸ್ಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಅನ್ನ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ. ಅಂಡ್ ದ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಒನ್ ಇಸ್ ದ ಕ್ವಾಂಟಮ್ ಆಫ್ ಕರೆಂಟ್ ಅಸೆಟ್ಸ್ and its breakup into cash, inventory and receivables. See, the investment on fixed assets and current assets are equally important to the business organization. If you invest on fixed assets, then you have to invest more on current assets along with the fixed assets investment. Here the current assets such as cash receivables, debtors, inventory, etc. And these current assets are very important for maintaining the day-to-day expenses of the business organization. Here the quantum of current assets is also depending upon the financial management decisions. Here financial management helps the business about how much finance I need to keep aside for maintaining the day-to-day activities. And the next one is the amount of long-term and short-term funds to be used. Long-term funds means the money that has been borrowed for a period of 10 years. For example, bank loan, debentures, bonds, leasing, etc. On the other hand, short-term funds means if the money borrowed for a period of 1 year or less than 1 year, it will be called as short-term funds. For example, treasury bills, call money, certificate of deposit, etc. So here a company may go for long-term funds or the short-term funds. Again, it is depends upon the nature and size of the business organization. Take for example, if the company going to exist for a longer period of time, definitely it will decide to borrow money on long-term basis because they have the capability or financial ability to pay interest out of their profits. Similarly, if the company wants to earn profits, then it goes for short-term funds as it involves less credit period and also the cost of borrowing is less compared to the cost of borrowing in long-term funds. So any company can use both long-term funds or short-term funds depending upon their nature and the size. So as I told in the third point, any company can use long-term funds and the short-term funds. So here long-term funds can be divided into two. The first one is debt and equity. Debt is also called as borrowed funds, whereas equity is called as owners funds or shareholders fund. Before going to raise the finance from these two sources, organization need to be decide the proportion of funds to be raised from these two sources based on the cost and risk involved in them. Borrowed fund means finance raised through issuing of debentures, leasing, etc. Whereas owners fund refers to equity capital and retained earnings. These two sources are considered as long-term sources of finance. So here borrowed funds are available at cheaper rates. Even though they are available at cheaper rates, which involves more financial risk as it has to be paid at a fixed period of time. So here in a borrowed fund, we can see more financial risk. So coming to the owner's fund, Owner's fund involves no commitment regarding the payment of return or the repayment of capital. So organization should have a judicious mix of both debt and equity while making financial decision, which is a part of the financial management. So now long term finance na debt indanu ನಾವು rise ಮಾಡಬಹುದು and through equity sources indanu kuda rise ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಹೋಗಬಹುದು, but there is a equal advantages and disadvantages between these two sources. So before going to raise finance from these two sources, organization need to have a judicious mix of both debt and equity while making financial decisions. And the next one is all items in the P&L account, for example interest, expenses, depreciation, etc. Yes, so here P&L account is prepared only in order to know the net profit or net loss at the end of the accounting period. So here if company pays higher rate of interest, then which leads to a debt. Similarly, if company raise its required finance through the issuing of equity shares or preference shares, then company has to pay dividends to their equity shareholders as well as the preference shareholders, then it is considered as expenses to the business organization. And next is depreciation. So already I told you we have to invest more on fixed assets to carry out the business activities. If we purchase any assets, any machineries or any equipments, we must calculate depreciation at the end of the accounting period in order to find out or in order to ascertain true net profit of the business concern. So here at last what I am going to tell you that all the financial statements of a business are largely determined by the financial management decisions which have taken earlier. So now first correct agi decision anna tagondre and finally namma financial statement alli ಒಳ್ಳೆ ರಿಸಲ್ಟ್ ಅನ್ನ ನಾವು ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೆಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಹೋಗಬಹುದು. If we fail to take a right decision in the beginning relating to the financial matters, then it will negatively affect in the financial statements. So in order to get good result, in order to achieve organizational objectives effectively and efficiently, we have to take proper decision, and this can be achieved only with the help of the financial management. And this financial management guides us about how much finance are going to be raised through debt, how much finance are going to be raised through equity, ಎಷ್ಟು finance ಅನ್ನ ನಾವು debt ಇಂದ raise ಮಾಡಬೇಕು, ಎಷ್ಟು finance ಅನ್ನ ನಾವು equity ಇಂದ raise ಮಾಡಬೇಕು, raise ಮಾಡಿದ್ಮೇಲೆ ಅದನ್ನ ಹೇಗೆ ನಾವು ಯುಟಿಲೈಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಬೇಕು ಅನ್ನೋದಕ್ಕೆ ನಮಗೆ ಗೈಡ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಹೋಗುತ್ತೆ. And we can easily achieve the success and we can easily achieve the organizational objectives. So now let's understand the objectives of financial management. These two are the basic objective of the financial management. So the first basic objective of financial management is profit maximization. The main aim of the business organization is to earning more profit than what has been invested. So here the basic reason behind the establishment of every business organization is to earning more profit. Profit is very essential for maintaining the day-to-day activities or day-to-day expenses and for the expansion of the business, modernization and diversification of every business units. So here this profit can be maximized only when organization utilize its available resources effectively and efficiently. So this is the main basic objective of financial management. The second one is wealth maximization. This is also at another basic objective of financial management. Wealth maximization means increase in the market value of the shares of the shareholders. In simple, wealth maximization means increase in the market value of the shares. Market value of the shares can easily increase only by taking three important decisions, that is nothing but capital budgeting decisions, financing decision and dividend decision. Here wealth can be maximized by a firm if it is follow the different ways. The first way is by avoiding the projects which involves higher risk than profits. The second one is by paying dividends to its shareholders regularly. Regular agi dividend anna pay ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. The third one is by maintaining growth in sales. The fourth one is by maintaining the price of equity shares at reasonable levels. And the last one is by adopting sound investment policies. So here, if the company adopt a sound investment policies, definitely it will help to improve the image of the firm in the society, and automatically which increases the value of the shares. So these are all the different ways by which we can easily maximize the wealth of the shareholders. So these are the two important basic objectives of financial management. So I hope you have understood today's topic. Thank you.